We have a viewer request to review the Punisher series. So starting off with season one, to me, I think this is about as good as season one of Daredevil. I love season one. I think it is extremely well done and has a great cast of characters. It picks off right after season two of Daredevil with the tease of the DVD disc with the word Micro written on it. And of course, we get Eben playing Micro, who did, to me, a terrific job. I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed his whole arc. I thought because of his inclusion in the story they were going with, I felt very invested in him and in his story. I was genuinely concerned for him and his family. He really sold me on it, and I absolutely loved him in the role. I'm looking forward to him returning to the MCU as the Thing. I don't think it's going to be as good of a role for him, but I am still looking forward to him just because I think he's an amazing actor. And then Jon Bernthal absolutely rocked it. He is just as good as he was in season two of Daredevil. They do go a lot more into Frank Castle than they do the Punisher, but I'm pretty okay with that here. I like the flashbacks that we had in his dreams. I thought were very intriguing and I think added a bit of realism to the character. And the action is fantastic. And Ben Barnes as Billy Russo is terrific. I think Eben, Jon Bernthal, and Ben Barnes are the three best actors in this show. From this show, Ben Barnes convinced me that he should play Batman, and he rocked it as Jigsaw as Billy Russo. I loved every scene he was in. I think that the twist I don't think was super obvious, and I think it made a lot of sense, especially with what they went through in Kandahar and the whole FBI plot was. I think that was probably the weakest part. Not that it was bad; it was still great. It was just I think the weakest part of the show where Agent Madani had this obsession that I think did make sense, but how everything tied back to Kandahar very conveniently right when she was pulled out was just I get it. It makes sense. It was still just the weakest part of the show, but it's still
I
really
love this
good.
show. I got to talk a little bit about Daredevil season two in order for me to get my point across. But I remember watching Daredevil season two. We had been introduced to Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. It was that rooftop scene. I can't say I knew for sure, but I know I did think to myself, man, Marvel would have to be fucking insane if they don't give this dude a spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, of course, we got confirmation that they were, doing his own show, and I was really happy. I just was like, are they gonna do it as gritty as they did it here in season two? And they did. I love the cast. I love the dynamic between Frank and Karen. I do love Micro. I like the fact that that dude is now playing the Thing. I would not have cast him as the Thing myself, but I believe this is the first time we're getting a Jewish Ben Grimm, so that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome because he's Jewish in the comics. He's got blue eyes. He's a great actor. I'm sure he's going to knock it out of the ballpark. Can't wait to see that. Funny enough, Griff mentions Ben Barnes as Jigsaw, although he did great in the role and he's a great actor. And Griff and I have talked about this at length many times. Every time I saw this dude on screen, I thought Bruce Wayne. It's
Yeah.
just, I went immediately there. And this was several years ago. This show came out in 2017. But and of course, at the time, Ben Affleck was Batman and not even Rob Pattinson or whatever. But every time I saw that most of the time, I wouldn't say 95% of the time that he's on screen, he's wearing these like really good suits because he's got his own business. He's a corporate guy and whatever. And funny enough, this I've not said to Griff, Agent Madani, when Griff said Ben Barnes is Batman, because that's our like James Gunn, hear us out. That's who we want cast as the DCEU Batman. Agent Madani, man. I every time I saw her standing next to Billy Russo, I thought, I'm not gonna say Catwoman, but I swear to God, I did think Talia al Ghul. She's got the look.
I could see
She's
that.
I don't want to sound weird, but she's ethnic. She's got this very like old classic beauty. And when they're at odds together, there's a couple of scenes, and I just every time I saw them, I was like, it's fucking Batman and Talia.
I like it.
And yeah, it just clicked to me. He did a great job as Jigsaw. It's just every time I saw him, I was like, fuck, that dude should be Batman someday. The cast is great. I love Curtis Cole. he was one of my favorite. It's funny, characters you'd never think you're gonna care about. It's just he was one of my favorites. The whole thing that he's this battered down veteran and now he's got his group. And this show's got really cool mini arcs. Remember that one dude, that crazy guy who's trying to like take down the government and he writes to Karen.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the weaker elements of the show. I think it fit, but it was it. I in
Well, I
Daredevil,
like the
like
dynamic between because yeah, we all from the first scene we see this kid. We
yeah.
know this guy's bad shit crazy. We know he's up to no good. But because he's trying to get help from Curtis and then that other guy who's a line stolen valor veteran, O'Connor, and then Billy doesn't give him the job because he's like, even Billy's like, this guy's, yeah, imagine Billy's fucking crazy. But even Billy's like, nah, you're no good for me, man.
I don't
Um,
think Billy's crazy at this point. I think he gets there, but I don't think he is here. I would say Billy's
Let
sane,
us know. What do you guys
greedy.
think?
He's
You guys
greedy,
think
but
he's
he's
crazy?
sane.
Just okay. So let me make my stance for this.
Okay.
But to me, Billy is crazy because what he did to Frank's family. And what makes it worse is he was he was like Uncle
He
Billy.
was Uncle Billy, yeah.
He knew the children.
Hmm.
He knew what was going to happen. And to me, you got to be crazy to play that good of a friend, do that to your best friend, and then just the way he's able to like he's a sociopath, just the way he's able to like, hey Frank, no, whatever you need, dude, I'll help you out. And the way he plays Agent Madani, he's
Okay,
in my
I
opinion, I
I can
think
see
there's
the
something wrong with him.
arguments. Him being a sociopath, I don't think he's insane. With him playing Frank, I guess what the redeeming part for me with that argument is that he was strictly out of that operation because he knew that Frank's family was going to be there. They and that he wanted no part of it, and he stepped aside. That to me, even though it's still shitty, that I still think he's involved, but
He didn't tell Frank,
he didn't tell Frank, and I do think that is
which is
fucked up.
fucked up.
100% fucked up.
Oh, hey, dude, this shit's gonna go down. Get your kids at least. I mean,
At
at
least get the
least get
kids
your
out of there.
family out of there.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
I do think it's 100% fucked up. I don't
and
think
that's
he's
why
insane
Frank
though.
does what he does. I didn't think they were gonna go that far. And here's one thing I do have to say this.
Yeah.
Last episode, Frank really does a number on fucking Billy. I love that scene because I didn't think they were gonna go that far. He really fucks him up. Season two, they take off the bandages and shit. He looks better than I do. Dude, I saw what was done to you. You got your face smothered into glass. And that dude in season two, he looks way better than I'm ever gonna look ever in my life.
I'll save my discussion with it for season two, for the season two review, which will be coming out next week. But no, I don't think he's crazy. And then with Lewis, I think that's probably one of the
Lewis
weaker
is batshit
moments.
crazy.
He is always absolutely batshit crazy, but I think he's one of the weaker moments of the show. I do like what they did with him. It's just the way they tied it in with the main plot. I wasn't a huge fan of because going from Daredevil to this, where the side plots seamlessly go in and out of the main plot, was super well done and is near perfect. Here, it almost feels like they take a break from the main plot, then insert this, and then use it as a tie-in and just as a way out of the main plot, which is doesn't feel like it flows as nicely. I still think it's great, just not as good as comparison to Daredevil. It's just comparison of
I agree.
perfect versus very very good. It's semantics at this point. Like it's if I have to pick something to go wrong, that was it. That's the only bad part, and it's still very good.
The dynamic between the characters, whether it's Frank with Curtis, whether it's Frank with Billy, and the scenes with Billy hurt all the more because the first couple of episodes, they're two best friends.
Hmm.
And the whole time you because we know it's Billy Russo and we know what his character is, the whole time we're like, yeah, this
Fucking
guy's
bitch.
I just really hate Billy Russo. When we talk about these kind of hates, a lot of people, make fun or they bully people like the kid that played Joffrey on fucking Game of Thrones. The kid quit acting because people just kept bullying him. This is what we're meant to feel. We're
Hate the
meant to,
character, not the actor.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because again, we both want him for Batman. We don't
Yeah.
hate Ben Barnes.
Ben Barnes is fantastic.
We hate the character that he
Yeah.
plays, and he plays it so well. He did his job great. He convinced us that he's a complete dick, that he's a backstabbing biatch, and that's his job. That's he,
Yeah.
you know, he read his lines and he went and he did what he had to do.
Perform the shit
And he
out of it.
totally convinced me that they were both, old best friends, that they went on several deadly missions together, and that Frank has saved his life more than once. I think the cast is great. I think the inclusion of Karen,
I think it
they
helps.
didn't have to have her in there, but the fact that she's there connects us to Daredevil, and I mean it is New York. Why the hell wouldn't she show up at least once? It would just be
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, no,
It's kind of like in the Penguin, we waited fucking 8 episodes to see the bat signal.
yeah.
That was lame.
No, I like how it does feel connected. This is fantastic season. For some reason you haven't seen it, please go see it. To me, a standout is Jon Bernthal and then Jon Bernthal and then Punisher and Micro's friendship and then how Punisher Frank goes with Sarah. I think that's funny every single time, but it's also a mercy to Micro just to have someone there for her and to take care of him and his kids. I love it. This season is
And
again
and
just as good as season one.
it proves that Frank is a better friend than Billy was, because
Yeah.
Billy would have nailed Sarah to the wall, and
Oh yeah.
having Micro watching.
Yeah.
Uh and let's be honest, Frank could have. Sarah wanted some of that, but Frank was
Yep.
just like, I'm just here to take care of you, lady. Yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys. Do you agree with Griff if that Billy's not crazy, or do you agree with me that he is crazy? I just think that the fact that he's able to do that shit and then just go about his day, he's got to be a little nuts.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go check out our season 2 review of Daredevil, where the Punisher is introduced, and that is the best part of Punisher that we've gone so far.
Absolutely.